Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today, we're discussing the fifth and final section of our badging task list, which covers the Grade Center. Okay, welcome back for our fifth and final section of our badging task list, which begins with the Grade Center. So we are first going to navigate to the Grade Center and Full Grade Center. So in this course management area of our menu, on the left-hand side near the bottom, we will see Grade Center. We can click on that to expand the options under Grade Center and then choose Full Grade Center. From here, the very first task is to create a new category named Project. We're going to find categories under this Manage option. So we're going to hover over that option and we are going to choose Categories. Next, we see the Create Category option. We're going to choose that and we're going to name this Project. When I'm done typing in the name of my category, I'm going to scroll over to the right and down and click Submit. Once my categories screen appears, you'll see the purple status bar at the top of the screen indicating that there was success. A new category has been created. I can simply click OK on the lower right-hand side of my screen. That will bring me back to the Full Grade Center. The next task is to create a column named Research Project 1. So I'm going to begin by hovering over this Create Column option and clicking on it. I'm going to type in the name Research Project 1. I'm not going to type anything into the Grade Center name. That field will actually populate automatically with the same name that I chose for my column name. Next, I'm going to set the category as Project. So I'm going to scroll down, click on the action link or downward arrow to the right of that drop-down menu, and I'm going to choose Project. I'm going to enter the points possible. In this case, I'm going to choose 100 points. So I'm typing in 100 into that points possible field. And I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom right and click Submit. Next, we're going to create a weighted column named Current Grade. So I'm going to hover over this Calculated Column option. The very last item here is to create a calculated weighted column. So I'm going to choose Weighted Column. The column name I'm going to give it is Current Grade. Again, I'm going to leave that Grade Center name blank. I'm going to scroll all the way down. And this is where we are going to choose the categories that we want to include in this weighted column and assign them a percentage. So our task list tells us to set each category to 25%, and it includes the assignment, discussion, test, and project categories. So I'm going to choose one of those to start with. That will be the assignment category. So I'm going to click on assignment under where it says categories to select, and I'm going to move that over to the right-hand side in the selected columns area. Next, I need to do that for discussion, tests, and project categories as well. Now I can do them all at once or one at a time as I just demonstrated. To do them all at once, I simply click on one of those categories. In this case, I'll choose discussion. I hit the Control key on my keyboard and I leave it pressed down and I choose test and project. Now that I have all three chosen, I can click that right arrow, move them over to the selected columns field where I can now assign the percentage of 25% to each of those categories. So I'm simply going to put my cursor in that field, enter the number 25. And once I've entered my 25% in each of those category fields, I am going to drop the one lowest grade for my discussion category. So I need to scroll to find my discussion category. And once I've found it, I will be able to drop the one lowest grade for that category. When I'm done, I can simply scroll all the way down to the bottom right and click Submit. I have my purple status bar at the top that tells me success. I have created column current grade, and now I can move on to my next task, which is to edit the total column. Now, many of you will note that there are two total columns in your Grade Center, and that's okay. The one we are going to use and focus on for these tasks is the column that does not have that gray circle with the green check mark next to it. So this total column without that circle is the one we're going to use. So I'm first going to edit my total column. So to do that, I click on the action link or contextual menu to the right of the total column, and I choose Edit Column Information. section. I'm being asked to set the secondary display as a percentage. So I'm going to scroll down until I see my secondary display. I'm going to click on that little arrow downward, and I'm going to choose percentage as my secondary display. Once I've done that, I can scroll all the way down to the bottom right and click submit. Again, we're working with this total column without the circle and the green check mark next to it. The very next item on our task list is to hide the total column from our students. So I'm going to click on that action link or contextual menu to the right of the total column, and I'm going to choose hide from students on or off. This is a toggle, so if it's currently visible, it will be hidden, and if it's hidden, it will then become visible. But the wording does not change. It says hide from students on or off. So we're going to choose that, and you'll notice my total column now has a gray circle with a red or orange slash through it. That tells us that it's hidden from our students. The very next task is to hide that same total column from the instructor view. So again, I'm going to click on that action link or contextual menu to the right of the total column. And this time I'm going to scroll down a little bit further, and I'm going to choose hide from instructor. Now I don't see that second total column anymore, so it is hidden from me as the instructor as well as from our students. The next three tasks are handled in the column organization area. So to get to that column organization area, we need to hover over this manage option and choose column organization. From here, we're going to complete the first task, which is to move the current grade to the top of the column list. So I'm going to scroll down until I see my current grade column. I see that four-sided arrow that we're used to seeing when we want to drag and drop something. So that's how I'm going to move this. I'm going to click on that four-sided arrow, and I'm going to move it to the top, which is just above the weighted total column. Next, I'm going to show the total column in the instructor view. So you'll see I see two total columns here. One is that total column that had the gray circle with the green check mark in it that we were not working with. And the other total column is the one that is hidden. That's the one that we were working with, and we hid it from both the students and from the instructor view. We can see that it's grayed out, and in parentheses it says hidden. So I know that's the one I want to work with. I put a little check mark next to that total column, and on the lower portion of our screen we see show or hide. Those same options are available at the top of our screen. You can use either, but what we are going to do is we are going to choose show selected column, and then we're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom right and choose submit. Next, we are going to enter grades and feedback. So the first thing under this little subsection is to enter a grade for Research Project 1. Now, I know that Research Project 1 is located all the way over on the right-hand side of our grade center because it was the very last column we added to our grade center. So to enter a grade for this Research Project 1, we need to click on that dash that's inside of the field just below Research Project and next to my preview student. So I'm going to click on that dash and I'm going to enter a grade for Research Project 1. Once I've typed a number in there, I need to hit enter on my keyboard to make that grade save. And I can move on to the next task. I'm being asked to use the quick comment feature to add feedback for Research Project 1. So to do that, I click on the action link or contextual menu to the right of that Research Project 1 grade, and I choose quick comment. The only thing my students will see is the feedback to learner. If you wanted to enter grading notes, you can. Those notes would be visible to only you as the instructor and might provide some detail as to why you graded this the way you did. I don't need to do that for this task, so I'm simply going to click submit. Next, we're going to move on to the needs grading area. Needs grading is found on our course menu in the course management area again, and it's in the grade center section. So we can click on needs grading, and we are going to grade three things. One discussion, 1 assignment, and 1 test. Now you'll notice we see 2 assignments here. We only need to grade one of those 2. So we will have 1 assignment that is left ungraded, which is okay. But part of this section, tasks, ask for us to grade 1 assignment or discussion using the rubric and provide feedback for 1 assignment. So what I try to do is I try to grade the discussion using the rubric and provide feedback for 1 assignment. So I'm going to begin with the discussion, and to grade this, I'm going to click on the user attempt. And on the right-hand side, we will see the area where we can grade this particular user's attempt. In this case, it's a discussion. So we are presented with the discussion posts that this user created. And on the right-hand side, we can begin grading. Now, I mentioned I was going to use the rubric for this discussion. So to do that, I can do one of 2 things. I can click on the discussion rubric, which is text, and I can make my selections here, or alternatively, and this is my personal preference, not necessarily a recommendation, I can click on the little double page icon that says View Rubric in Window. This provides me with what I feel is a more visual representation of what this rubric is. It has my achievement levels and my criterion listed, and I can simply choose meets expectations to give a grade for all of the criterion and achievement levels in one swoop, or I can choose does not meet expectations, or I can choose individually which criterion and achievement levels I would like to grade. Once I'm done choosing those achievement levels, I can simply click Save where my rubric is. You'll notice that I did not have to enter a grade into this grade field. It was automatically populated because I chose to grade this by using the rubric. So I'm simply going to scroll all the way down and save rubric, and then I'm going to click Submit. That will save that one discussion, and automatically, because I'm in needs grading, it moves me to the next item that needs to be graded. So you'll see up here, I am grading assignment number 1 by this user, and because I'm grading an assignment, I need to provide feedback for 1 assignment. So I'm simply going to grade this and provide feedback. Now, because there is a rubric associated with this, I'm going to take advantage of that, and I'm going to grade it using the rubric. You'll notice this rubric is a little bit different. I'm just going to make one change and click Save, and I'm also going to provide feedback. Once I've provided feedback, I can submit, and you'll notice again, because we are in needs grading, it brought me to the very next item that needs to be graded, which is another assignment. And I noted we only needed to grade one of those 2 assignments, so I'm simply going to use this arrow to move on to the next item in needs grading, which is the test. The only reason why the test needs to be graded is because it has that essay component to it. So you'll see I have question 1. The essay is the one that's ungraded. This may be in a different order for you depending on how that question was deployed to the student who took it. In this case, it's out of 10 points. I'm going to give them 8, and I'm simply going to scroll down and choose Save and Exit. Brings us back to the needs grading area where we see that 1 assignment is left ungraded. That's okay. We've completed the tasks for that section, and we can move on. I'm going to return to the Grade Center and the full Grade Center. From here, we are going to view the grade details for the test. So I'm looking for the test column, which I see here, and the grade details are visible and specific to the grade for that user. We're not focusing on the column itself, but rather the grade details for this specific item, which is the test, and this user, which is my preview user. So I'm going to click on the action link or contextual menu to the right of that grade, and I'm going to choose View Grade Details. Next, we're going to ignore 1 attempt. Now, because we only have 1 attempt, this attempt will be ignored. But what we see here on this screen is sort of 4 areas that we can work with when we're viewing the grade details. We are currently viewing the attempts. We have the ability to manually override, look at some column details, and view view the grade history. For this task, the ignore one attempt, you can see we are able to do that from this attempts tab. So over here on the right hand side, we see ignore attempt. We're going to click on that. We now see under the value column that this one attempt has been ignored. Next, we are going to override the grade. To do that, we need to switch tabs and we're going to click on manual override. If you forget how many points your assessment is out of, you can look at the top of your screen and it tells me that this is out of 14 points. So I know that I would not want to manually give them a grade that is above that. So I'm going to go with 12 points. And I'm going to scroll down and to the right and click Save. I now see that my current grade is 12 out of 14 points. And the next thing I need to do is to view the complete grade history. So to do that, I'm going to click on this Grade History tab. And one more step is to click on this View Complete History option. I am now seeing my complete grade history where I saw that the attempt was submitted, it was graded, then it was ignored, and then it was overridden. Once I've done that, I can simply return to the full grade center. The last section of tasks, the first item we're going to focus on is to download the grade center. To do that, we are going to scroll to the top of our screen where we see the option Work Offline, and we hover over that and we choose Download. We're being asked to set the comma delimiter. So where it says delimiter type, we are going to set that to comma, and we are going to scroll down and hit submit. One more step is to download this file. We choose download, and we notice, depending on which browser we're using, either the upper right or usually the lower portion of our screen, we will see either a download icon, as we do in this case. I'm using Chrome. If you're using Edge or Firefox, it could appear at the lower portion of your screen. Once that file is downloaded, you don't need to do anything with it. You can simply click OK. That brings us back to the full grade center where we are now going to download the grade history. The grade history is found in this reports area. So we need to hover over the reports option and choose view grade history. From here, we are going to change the total entries shown from 14 days to all, and we need to click go. Once we are viewing all of our grade history, we come back up to the top of our screen. On the left-hand side, we see this download option. Again, we're going to set the delimiter type to comma and scroll down and to the right and click submit. This final step is to choose download. And again, we don't need to do anything with this file. We simply know that it has been downloaded by looking in our browser, either in the upper right or usually the lower side of our browser window. And then we are going to wrap up by archiving this course. To archive a course, we return to our course menu. And this time we choose the Packages and Utilities option. From within Packages and Utilities, we see Export Archive Course. We click on that and we choose Archive Course. From here, we want to choose Include Grade Center History, and we just want to be sure that Copy Links and Include Copies of Files outside of the course default directory is selected. In this case, it is, so we can simply click Submit. You'll notice my screen tells me there are still no packages that exist for this course. What I need to do is I need to click Refresh. Once I click Refresh, my archive appears and I can click on the name of that archive file and have it download. Again, in my browser window, I see my file is being downloaded. I don't need to do anything with that. And as a matter of fact, I don't want to do anything with that. These zipped archive files should not be opened. If they are opened, they will be essentially useless because they are native to the Blackboard environment. Opening that zip file will corrupt it and make it unusable. And with that, that completes the Grade Center section of the badging task list.